Hey everybody, I'm Joanne. I am the foster coordinator here at the Wake County Animal Center, and we're about to take a tour of our facility to give you a little in-depth behind-the-scenes look. So come along. As you see here, this is our lobby. This is the first place that you see when you come into the facility. And then we will come through here, and this is a badge door. So you have to have a badge to get in, if it wants to work. Happens every time. And now we are in the admin hallway. This is free access to volunteers and fosters. This door right here is Cindy Lynch's office. She is our rescue coordinator. And in here is our administrative offices. This is our director's office, head of finance, communications director, our shelter manager, animal control, and secretarial staff. And then we have our veterinarian's office. Over here is our break room. This is for staff only. However, we do have the vending machines, so feel free to take use of those at any time. And then, welcome to the Volunteer Foster Lounge. This is where all of the volunteer supplies are, so they come in and out throughout the day to get their supplies and go take care of the pups, kittens, and the little critters on the floor. And then we have back here the office area that I share with Megan, our volunteer coordinator. This room is all purpose. If you need to use it for a meet and greet, we do ask that you please ask permission because, again, this is our office and it also can be busy, so this is not necessarily a place where if you had a shy foster, they'd show a little bit better because it is a little more busy. So the conference room might be a better option for you. Moving right along. There's going to be times where I'll mention the back. So the back is where no public or volunteers are allowed without staff escort. So now we're getting ready to get back. If the badge works. Your volunteer badge will not work, sorry. And we've woken them up. So, over here, we have our dog URI room. We have 32 kennels that we can use to treat dog URI in the building. URI is exactly that, upper respiratory infection, totally treatable. It's a cold, and we do treat that here. You can also take them home to foster to treat it as well. In this room is euthanasia, and there's also a room off here that is our x-ray room. We're very fortunate in that we were donated a digital x-ray machine, so now we don't have to use actual physical x-rays. We can get them downloaded on CD. Much more convenient, super awesome. In here is our surgical suite. As you can see, we have 2 beds. We have a surgeon on staff, and she has 2 techs assigned to her. She'll be working on one while her techs are prepping a second. And they will bring that animal over here while she's finishing up. She'll switch out all of her equipment, new gloves, everything. Start working on the second animal while the techs take these guys and put them in these kennels over here. These are our prep and recovery kennels. And if we go in here, we have more prep and recovery kennels. And it looks like we have some kittens waiting for surgery tomorrow. Yay, hi kittens. Hello everybody. And back here, after we get a little more cuteness, is our vet treatment area. So if your foster is coming in to have their animal looked at by our vet team, this is where they'll be taken. We have a full pharmacy here. We're full as far as we're concerned. We are not full service like your standard vets on the street, but for shelter medicine, we're pretty darn awesome. There are a few kennels back here so they can hold your animal if they need to stay for the day or stay overnight. We do have a lead veterinarian on staff, and she has 2 techs assigned to her as well. Now back here is receiving. We have lovely Michelle, receiving staff. Receiving is where all of the animals come in from the public or animal control, either through the front desk or animal control through our Sally Port in the back, which... Hello, animal control. And all of our animal control officers are required to sanitize their vehicles after bringing in every animal to prevent disease spread from animal to animal, since we don't know the health status of any of the animals that are brought in here at first. Over here we have the dog intake side, and then we have the cat and little critter intake side over there. All of our animals are fully vaccinated, age appropriately on intake if we are able to do so safely. So if an animal is brought in and they're able to be handled and vaccinated, then they can be placed on the adoption floor either as an owner surrender or as a stray. They may also be assessed differently while they're back here by our receiving team to whether they need to see a veterinarian due to a medical issue that is viewable, or if their behavior is such that precludes them from immediate availability, like they might need a little more confidence, or maybe they need to be muzzled. So they'll be placed in different rooms throughout the facility so that we can either prepare them for either foster or rescue placement. Okay. Down this hallway is our kitty wing. And this is our kitty URI room. Go ahead and turn the light on here, since it's a little quieter to go into the kitty rooms. So the kitties that are in here, cats and kittens alike, are in here because they have a URI, which is again treatable and definitely fosterable. So if you ever wanted to foster a sick one for short term, take them home, get them better, and bring them back for the floor, absolutely fantastic. Great short-term availability. And in here, this is cat quarantine. This room is all-purpose. During kitten season, it's usually full of kittens that are awaiting foster or rescue for socialization or weight gain to be big and strong, because we do have a 2-pound limit. They need to be at least 2 pounds for surgery. We also have animals awaiting vet exam in here. We have protective custody animals. There's a cat in here that's on protective custody, so they hang out in here. There are some awaiting rescue. We may also have bite cats or kittens in here from time to time. We also house them in another room in the building. But this is a smorgasbord, if you will, of animals that are usually available for foster or rescue.
Hi, sweetness. Say hi. Hi. What are you doing? Jens. Hello.
We hear those mews.
I know. Good night, everybody.
All right. Moving right along. We're now going into dog isolation. Dog isolation is for, we call it our quiet room, if you will. You watch, it'll probably erupt in barking just to prove me wrong. But this is our room for major to minor medicals, nothing contagious. We also can have some of the shy ones in here because they get a little more staff interaction in this room. A lot of these animals are fosterable as well as rescuable. Come on in, say hi a little bit. Hi, Grom. Say hi. I know, buddy. As you can see, we have 9 kennels in here. And it stays pretty full. What are you doing? Good boy. Ron, you want cookies? You do. Good boy. Alright. And over here, we have dog quarantine. Now we're not going to go in there because it will erupt in loud barking. Dog quarantine is also multi-purpose. We house protective custody animals here, bite animals, minor medicals, and minor to major behaviorals. A lot of the animals in here are also fosterable, so we tend to concentrate on these back rooms for the fosterable animals. Protective custody can mean anything from part of a cruelty case to evidence to they were abandoned when their owners were evicted to something as simple as their owners were in a car accident and they were in the car, so they were brought here while the family members are either tending to the person or they can come and reclaim them later. It means that we are legally responsible to take care of them, but they don't legally belong to us. We just have to care for them until they are either reclaimed or become our property after, say, a 10-day letter or a court resolution. All right. So in here, we call this cat stray. The reason we call it cat stray is this used to be the original intake room for all of the cats when the shelter was a lot smaller before the expansion. So all of the stray cats were put in here, so we just kind of kept the name. What we use it for now is more for our ferally friends, or the ones that have a rough time on intake, so we're having a little hard time taking care of them. This is also kitten overflow and bite cats as well. So we do have a booming barn cat program, working cat program. You can see Feral Farm Friends on Facebook if you're ever interested or know anybody that is looking for barn type cats or working cats for warehouse type businesses and that type of thing. We do adopt those out for free, spayed or neutered, as long as they have proof that they can provide the proper housing for them. We also work with Wake TNR, so if we get an ear-tipped cat, which is the universal sign that they have been spayed or neutered and vaccinated, we contact them if we know where they came from, and we try to bring them back to their colonies, or they can get relocated depending on where they were picked up. So that is something that we're very proud of. We at Wake County jurisdiction also work with our constituents to do a TNR type program with them. It's a return to habitat, is what it's called. So if people have cats on their property, say they own a trailer park or a business that has a lot of area and they like to have the cats there because it keeps the rodent population down and all that good stuff, but they don't want them making babies, we will work with them to bring the cats in and trap them, get them spayed or neutered, and return to where they came from because the people are willing to take care of them. They have no problem doing that. They just don't want them making more kittens. So that is yet another way that we try to help with our community cat issue and try to make sure we have more vaccinated cats out there and more spayed and neutered cats. And we're very proud of that program. And here, briefly, this is our behavior room. So this is where we can do dog testing, behavior assessments. As you see, there's a computer in here too, so staff use it to do administrative stuff. We have a lot of our enrichment stored in here too. And we have Teresa, Animal Control Officer. And we are now leaving the back. So now we are back in the public domain. This is the adoption floor where the public can come freely every day from 12 to 6. First dog room here is dog room E, currently not being used. We just don't have enough animals to use it for right now. But this is where newer dogs are placed when they first come into the system, normally. And then they will filter back into the other rooms if they stay much longer than the first week or so, or if they don't get adopted very quickly. We have 4 rooms of adoptable cats that go in a circle, A, B, C, and D. We have a little critter room for our small friends, and we have a little bunny in here. We can handle ferrets, chinchillas, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, gerbils, rats, mice, birds. We don't have a place to have proper housing for, say, reptiles, lizards, snakes of that nature. We usually send those to rescue. And then we have 4 more rooms of adoptable dogs that again go in a big circle, A, B, C, and D. And as I mentioned earlier, once the newer ones come in and they've been here for a little bit, they will eventually filter into these rooms. We have a wonderful volunteer program. So we have volunteers that are assigned to cats, dogs, and little critters. So they work with them on enrichment, behavior, basic training if they want to, making sure the dogs get walked and the cats get cuddled and our little critters get taken care of, and we have stuff for them to play with too. They also serve as adoption counselors, and they deal directly with the public to make sure that we're trying to find the best fit. In here, we'll just walk in here real quick to give you an idea. Say hi to the babies. So every animal within the shelter has a kennel card. The cats have a smaller version just because they have smaller kennels, and the dogs have a larger version, but they all have the same information on them. So they have the name that either they were given if they were surrenders, or names that we give them if they come in as strays. It'll have a date in and a date available, and that will tell you, the door is open. That will tell you if the animal was a stray or a surrender. If the date available and the date in was the same date, then they are surrendered. And if we have an owner surrender form, we ask for them to fill them out. These guys don't happen to have one. But if they have a little bio written, either by a foster or a volunteer, it's going to be right here with their picture. This kitty was in foster, so we do have a nice little bio and cutie pictures that also show up on the website. And it tells what we know of them: female, approximate age, how much they weigh. And then, let's see, so Napa came in as a stray. Hello, Mittens. So Mittens was also an owner surrender, and he has a surrender form. And we ask people to fill these out when they surrender animals. They don't have to, we can't make them, but if they can, it gives us a little more information on the animal, a little insight into their behavior in a home environment. Now, 4-month-old kitten, so. Like I said, this little guy was found in their neighborhood 3 weeks ago, and they wanted to get adopted, so they brought him in here, which is great because he'll get adopted very quickly. But we have forms for high body, we have forms for cats and kittens, we have forms for dogs and puppies, and we have forms for little critters as well, asking specific type questions. And you are welcome to read anything that is in any of these kennel cards. It is for you and your information. Hi. I'm coming back off the adoption floor. We'll go back to the lobby where we have our conference room. It's kind of our all-purpose room. This is where we have staff meetings. We can do foster meet and greets, all kinds of stuff. We have photography equipment in here. The volunteers use it to set up a photography studio. This is also where foster supplies are located, and it's a self-service area, so if you need supplies, you can come in and take what you need for the fosters that you have. Yeah. And just for informational purposes, the restrooms. I just want to make sure everybody knows where they can go to the bathroom. And then we are back in the main lobby area again. So this concludes our tour. I hope you got some fun information from it. If you have any questions, please do contact any of us here at the shelter. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for wanting to be a part of WCAC.